Hello, welcome to Semifinals of BPL Season 12. We are up against our Week 4 opponent in a rematch. He defeated us last time. It is McNutt. As before, his team has not changed. Tapu is still a menace with its Tera, and Nihiligo is definitely the biggest threat to my team. I apologize for the late upload once again, 2 weeks in a row. I kind of forgot about this. The off-season started, and I've been wholly focused on my team building there, in addition to my job search finally resulting in something getting set up. So yeah, it's been a busy week, and I haven't really had time to get around to this, so that's my fault. Recording pretty late on a Thursday, so let's just get started, why don't we? Last time we played our opponent here, I ran a Moonblast set. Well, obviously every Diancie has Moonblast. Like, jeez. The Diancie was outspeeding Jugulus, all the nonsense, Nihiligo, and all that. Diamond Storm, Terrain Pulse, Earth Blast, Moon Power. You get what I'm saying, right? It's a basic Diancie set with Terrain Pulse. Like, there's some sauce. But it ultimately got smacked because I didn't have speed control to wear down the Nihiligo after Ting-Lu went down. Ting-Lu was Rindo, max special defense as one would expect with Rock Tomb, but because Ting-Lu went down so early, I didn't have the Rock Tomb to stop Nihiligo from sweeping, which caused me to ultimately lose that match. Weavile didn't really get to do anything either. Weavile and Moltres, really. Weavile didn't get to do anything because I didn't utilize Moltres well enough, so I definitely want to be more mindful of that in this matchup for this time around. We're not running Burn Up again. That would be very, very silly. Scorching Sands was also like... it was assuming Nihiligo was the switch in for Moltres, right? But Blastoise is more than fine for that, so I don't think that's necessary, right? But yeah, Weavile, like I said, with the Life Orb set, it didn't really get the chance to do anything. If it would have been Custap or Focus Sash, Custap Endure or Focus Sash, it would have had more opportunities, but unfortunately it just didn't get them. And then Quaquaval was a U-turn Aqua Step Brave Bird type of thing, with Tera flying and Waken just so I could sit in front of Tapu Koko and not really fear it as much. And then Mosswine, our Shaman, was Rocky Helmet with Mixed Bulk, a little bit of speed to avoid creep, and Giga Drain Earth Power Leech Seed Synthesis, just to keep my health up and be a nice check to counter to Mega Blastoise. But let's get into what I think he is going to bring this week. I think things are going to change slightly, not significantly, because what he brought last time was really solid. Nihiligo, I don't believe is going to change at all. If it does, it probably slots Grass Knot in over Power Gem, or it keeps Power Gem and gets rid of Thunderbolt. But I do still believe this is the most threatening set to my team because it hits everything and he doesn't really have to read anything if he gets his Power Herb off successfully. Same spread as before, with all the plus speed from the speed boost and nonsense. Tera Water, just because it's its best defensive typing. And yeah, this thing's just a massive threat to my team that I can't really do a whole lot about, besides pray. Tapu Koko, I would be shocked if he doesn't bring the same thing again. It was really, really effective last time, and it was hard for me to deal with. Just a speedy Koko to get ahead of Weavile with sub-Toxic, to stall out Ting-Lu and, like, Toxic stall my other mons. It works really, really well. I don't have a great switch into this, and I just kind of have to deal with it. But I do have a better plan to deal with it this time, and then discharge for its final move, just because. I don't believe Koko will change that much, like I said. Another mon I don't expect to change too much is Blastoise. I think it might have been running some speed last time. I don't quite remember. But I expect this to either have... there's no way you don't run Ice Beam on it over Dark Pulse, or excuse me, Aura Sphere, because you ran Aura Sphere last time with Roar and Rapid Spin and Scald. But, like, I think you probably get rid of Roar and throw on Dark Pulse, and then have Ice Beam. I didn't run the Petrarant calc, so I don't know exactly how much you want Dark Pulse, but you should probably be thinking about hitting Petrarant so that you're not getting spin blocked here. Unless you're really only concerned about me using Shaman like last time. Landorus, I do think Scarf is probably coming again. I think Scarf is really, really strong into me. The only change here I think that he'd make if he runs Scarf is going to be Sludge Wave over Rock Slide. And it's possible he runs a Rock Polish set with, like, Yashberry or some nonsense, but, like, it's either Yash or Scarf in my head. There's no way you're running anything else. Like, Specs is possible, but I just don't think it does enough against my team to warrant bringing it. It definitely hurts. I don't have a good switch in, but then if you do that, you're lacking in other areas. So it kind of depends. Like, you need to be a little careful with your Lando set, because you don't want to run the exact same thing as last time, but the exact same thing as last time is pretty damn good. Regardless. Moving on to Melmetal, I do think Melmetal comes again. I don't see why it wouldn't. Berry over Clear Amulet this time, but probably the same EVs and everything with the same moveset. I don't think you need to change this thing up at all, really. I think it was just really effective as it was. If you wanted, you could run Thunder Punch. I don't see the best reason for that in the world, but, like, it's definitely an option. And then Toxic is just like, why wouldn't you? You ran it last time. It's still a solid option. Doesn't have to. Could run AV. We'll find out when we get into the match exactly what this thing is, but I don't expect it to not be specially defensive with Shuka for Earth Power from Diancie. Or Ting, right? Finally, Mesprit. I don't really know what this thing is going to do exactly. Drain Punch is its best fighting move into me, and it's a really, really good option into me because I don't have a good switch in for, like, a psychic attack and a fighting attack. And then it could be a bulky set, or it could be an offensive set. Like, some things I theorize where it's either going to be lefties, Colbert, or maybe just, like, Covert Cloak, or, like, weakness policy, even, to take advantage of Weavile or Ting Lu. Like, there's a lot of options this thing can run against me. It could be Min Speed, Trick Room. Like, there's so many different tools that it could run that it's really impossible to, like, assume any one set is coming. But yeah, I mean, like, it is what it is. I just had to prep for it the best I can, and the best I can prep is what I will show you. So we are changing up the Diancie a bit. We are running Rock Tomb on it. I did say I needed more speed control from it last time. If I was running Rock Tomb, I probably would have won due to, or I could have won, right? It wouldn't have been guaranteed by any means, but I would have been in an extremely strong position facing off against a Nihilego with its meteor being popped that also was at neutral speed, because then it's like, with the scenario, it was like pretty favored for me. But Rock Tomb and Mystical Fire are the new additions to this moveset. Mystical Fire is really strong into his team, because you don't want Coco to switch into it because it lowers special attack. Lando's in the same boat. Melmetal takes super effective. Buzzwole takes super effective and takes a lot of damage from it, really. Mesprit lowers its special attack, though it doesn't have to be a special attacker. Mega Blastoise lowers its special attack. Nihilego lowers its special attack. And Iron Jugulus lowers its special attack. And then Meganium's not real. But if it is, it gets hit for super effective. So Mystical Fire is just really, really strong into his team. Next on, I want to move over to Weavile for this week. Weavile is running Scarf over Life Orb, just so we're getting ahead of the Scarf Landorus. We're running Icicle Crash, Toxic. Toxic is for Buzzwole, because while I'm not 100% confident that it's coming, I do still have to prep for it, otherwise I will get smoked by it if it's too much different running a fighting move or whatnot, because the last Buzzwole set he brought didn't even beat Shaman, right? So yeah, like, Icicle Crash is for everything that isn't Blastoise. Toxic is for anything that I want besides Melmetal, and then Knockoff is for anything that isn't Blastoise. And then Pursuit's just like if I'm feeling spicy and I want to go for a read, we do that instead of like anything else. But we're Scarfed, so we're locked into whatever we pick. So I do plan on leading this if Mesprit isn't on the team preview. If Mesprit is on the team preview, I'm leading Diancie just because it matches up better into a Coco lead. This does not Oko, Colberberry, Mesprit ever, right? So we're just having Diancie in the situation where Mesprit is the lead, and then, like, Diancie can attack from there, because there's no way you're running Iron Tail Mesprit, I'm sorry. To support these two, we have the same Shaman as last time with a bit of a catch. There is no Giga Drain. We are only running Earth Power for an attacking move. In exchange, we have grabbed Baton Pass and dropped our speed. We have min speed Shaman with these last 12 points that were in speed going into special defense, so we can take special hits from Blastoise a little better, including Ice Beam, among other things like Coco and whatnot. But, yeah, this is basically the same thing as last time, it's just slower with a pivot move. Next up on the list is Moltres, which we really did not utilize well last time at all. I have switched this up to a more standard set. Heavy Duty Boots was kind of a last-minute decision. I really almost went with Lumberry here because I was concerned about this thing getting toxic, but I had to respect the Mesprit Stealth Rocks, so I brought Boots to just protect myself from that. That was really that and Diancie were the majority of my prep for Mesprit. Like, I really didn't want to go too hard thinking about it, because I was a little more concerned with Buzzwole, but I was pretty confident that, like, if you don't bring Buzzwole, you're bringing Mesprit, right? There's no way you're switching Mesprit out for anything else, because if you do, then it's just better for me. But yeah, this Moltres is here to threaten in Blastoise and deal with either Mesprit or Melmetal, and like along with Landorus. Like, this can switch into Landorus really, really well thanks to the special investment. We don't have any more speed. I remember I think I had 12 on it last time. No speed required. If he wants to outspeed me, he can. But yeah, Whirlwind is just to phase and get more chip damage with Stealth Rocks. It's not really much more complicated than that. This does not phase anything that sets up, because I don't think anything's setting up on besides Lando, right? But like, if Lando's running Rock Slide, then I'm doomed anyways. Regardless, Tinglu is our other phaser for the week. We have Earthquake, Stealth Rock, Whirlwind, Rest. When I said I didn't really prep for Mesprit extensively past a certain point, I meant it. No Dark Move or Ruination kind of disrespects the idea of Drain Punch. Sorry about that. I accidentally went over here and popped up a bunch of news articles. Anyways, like I was saying, this is just here to set hazards, and Earthquake Nihilego or Tapu Koko, and Whirlwind in anything else that I can. Ideally not Blastoise, but if it is Blastoise, then whoop-de-doo, I guess. We throw in Shaman, then we lose our rocks. Rest against an electric terrain team may seem silly, but I do assure you I will be able, like, my thought process is, I'm gonna be able to get a rest off, right? Electric terrain isn't always going to want to be up, and you're not switching Coco into this. That would be silly. So that's why we're running Rest, because we absolutely need to keep this healthy through the Toxic Soul. Even if this does stay up against Coco, it's not going to be permanent. Electric terrain will go away eventually, and we should be able to get a Rest off regardless, through all the subs and protects. And then he has to restart everything over. Finally, our team rounds itself off with our sweeper for the week, Tera Ground Quaquaval with Terra Blast, Brave Bird, Aqua Step, and Agility. We're not running Rapid Spin this week. We're not running any hazard removal at all, which is why I opted for Boots over Lumberry. I was considering Ice Spinner on Quaquaval for Landorus, but ultimately decided that was silly, because if it's Yash, then I don't kill. And anyways, at +1, Aqua Step just kills. So, like, there's no need to rerunning Ice Spinner whatsoever, even if it is good for electric terrain. Even if I would like Tinglu to be able to rest with Tapu Koko alive. But, like, yeah, I mean, like, Aqua Step, if I win with this, I just need Blastoise or Melmetal or something at low HP. Like, Blastoise at a quarter of its HP, like, Buzzwole in general. Mesprit, I need at, like, half or something. And then Lando, I need to be at +1 to kill. Like, everything else, I need to guarantee Melmetal isn't Chople, and then I need a solid amount of chunk damage on Tapu Koko. But yeah, that is the plan. Terra Ground, Terra Blast hits everything and resists Nihilego really, really well. And Brave Bird is just for Buzzwole. Like, it's not really. It hits Mesprit too, but it's about even with Aqua Step, right? So like, it is what it is. I think Brave Bird's fine because I do need it for Buzzwole, but beyond that, I don't think there's any issue with it as a move. So let's take a look at what my opponent actually brought and what the matchup looks like. And it is Mesprit over Buzzwole. Tapu Koko is actually Tera Electric this week, and Nihilego is still Tera Water. So our teams are almost identical from last time, except he's got Mesprit and I've got nothing new. You know, he's the only one that made a substitution. With that being said, I see Mesprit. Like I said before, Diance's the plan because I see Mesprit, and let's start the hunt, why don't we? So it is going to be Koko lead, which is not ideal to see, but my plan was to Mystical Fire into this if it was what happened. I knew this was a possibility, right? So here we go. We're going to Mystical Fire, and that Volt Switch does a lot more than I was expecting it to. And from that Mystical Fire, I can actually see that this thing has no HP. But yeah, taking that much damage was not what I expected to see, even through electric terrain, which tells me that this Koko is a lot different than last time. It is more offensive than before, especially because it didn't even have Volt Switch in its move pool last time. But yeah, we get the special defense, special attack drop. I could not take the risk of Moonblasting here. I didn't want to lose Diancie this early, especially with no damage on anything besides Mesprit. Though I was pretty confident a Moonblast would decimate this thing's health. It just, I could not take the risk, dude. So in comes Koko, because he actually read my switch, and I'm just going to go out to Tinglu, because obviously I can't let Moltres get hit. And this cheeky bastard runs U-turn and Volt Switch on his Koko. I said this was kind of a silly thing to do back in week 6, but here it actually makes a lot of sense if you are specifically playing the mind game of baiting in Tinglu after Volt Switching on something else at the lead. So that's insane prep from him. That's a brilliant decision, which is a wide, stark contrast from how I approached the topic in week 6. But in comes Mesprit, which leads me to believe this thing is either Colbert or Weakness Policy. It is definitely built to deal with Tinglu somehow, but I want to see how, right? So I'm just going to go for a little Stealth Rocks here to get my hazards up, and I see that it is max attack, or what I assume to be max attack Mesprit. It didn't have any HP, so surely it's got to be max attack, right? I'm not sure exactly how this wants to go, so I'm going to go in Shaman. Encore comes out, try to lock me into the Stealth Rock. That's a pretty solid decision. I am just going to go for a cheeky little Baton Pass, which does reveal that this thing is either going for a Trick Room or it is just outright min speed. So I go into Moltres expecting either, just to cover for either, right? And it is going to be a min speed Mesprit, which leads me to believe that it probably has Trick Room. But it didn't click it, so I'm like, okay, that's min speed, right? But he doesn't know that I have no speed on my Shaman yet. In comes Koko. I am just going to do the safe decision and Whirlwind, because I want no part of anything switching in here. Blastoise comes in, like, Blastoise is pretty much the obvious thing I'm expecting here, right? Because, like, you want your hazards off. But I'm not going to let that happen too easy. Melmetal comes in. I need chip on this thing, right? So I'm just going to go for a basic old Flamethrower to get the damage, and it is specially defensive as we expected. He takes a fat Thunder Punch. That shit hurts. I am comfortable risking the Earthquake and going for a teeny tiny little Roost here. And he gets off a T-Wave. So this is a vastly different Melmetal than before. So I'm like, alright, this dude definitely changed a lot more than I thought he was going to. I'm just going to go for another Flamethrower because, like, the damage is good on whatever comes in. And if I kill Melmetal, that's fine, too. Blastoise is the switch-in. Unfortunate that I didn't go for a Whirlwind, but we are going to hard switch out Shaman because we take all attacks always, including a Rapid Spin, which gets its health depleted from the Rocky Helmet. Here, I'm going to go for a Leech Seed because, like, if you stay in with Blastoise, you risk losing it. So, like, surely you're going to switch, right? And he doesn't. He stays in an Ice Beam, predicting me to go for a Leech Seed. And just gets a little bit of gets a good chunk of chip off on my Shaman in exchange for a bit of health on his Blastoise. So that's pretty sick. I'm like, alright, that's pretty cool, but you're definitely switching this time, so I'm gonna go for a Baton Pass. In came Lando, I'm like, alright, how about Weavile? I can't risk this thing being scarfed, so I'm gonna go for an Icicle Crash here. And, he throws out Melmetal, because he's being a little wary. And unfortunately, as you might have saw from that animation, I accidentally skipped. The Icicle Crash misses, which, I mean, that's fine. It doesn't give away anything about my Weavile set, so I wasn't too upset with that. But it's still like, damn, you know, a little bit of chip could have gone a long way. Shaman's always my switch in for this. And he brings in Coco, which I'm pretty okay with. Now, I took a little analysis of the situation and realized you're probably not Brave Bird Coco, right? You're max special attack. Or like some amount of special attack, a heavy amount of special attack. So, I was comfortable staying in here with Shaman. Because there's no way you're going to Brave Bird me, and I'm right. Volt Switch comes out, and in comes Lando. I want to just get my health back for that reason, because, like, why not? And he goes for Sludge Bomb. Over Sludge Wave is a little weird, but it's like, whatever. It's just 5 base power. It's just a oopsies, right? I go for a Baton Pass, because I'm like, I want to see what this thing locks itself into with Choice Scarf. And it's Sludge Bomb. I go into Weavile, because I want to threaten this thing. For the record, I was Pressure over Pickpocket, just because I didn't want to give off the assumption that I had, like, something to steal his items with. Now here, I absolutely, by all means, I've threatened this thing with Icicle Crash already. I should have gone for a Pursuit here, right? I have Pursuit, there's really no reason not to do it. But I am gonna still go out for an Icicle Crash, even then, assuming maybe it's Yash and he just kills me, right? And unfortunately, Blastoise is gonna come in. So I could have pursued that, it would have taken some damage. I don't think it really made a huge difference in the long run at this point in time, right? I'm like, alright, fine, whatever, Blastoise is chipped. Here I'm like, well, okay, this thing's really threatening. I could go into Shaman, but if he reads me going into Shaman and clicks Ice Beam, I'm getting 2-hit KO'd guaranteed, because this thing is definitely going to outspeed me. I saw from this hit that it wasn't max physical defense, so I wanted to go into Moltres to slow pivot into Quaquaval to try to pick this off, because I've got my conditions set up, right? If Quaquaval gets in, finishes it off with Brave Bird, and gets an agility up, I'll win the game. Because everything's where I need it to be. At +1, Aqua Step kills Landorus, and like at +2, Mesprit, well, I'd have to get the +2. Mesprit would be the first problem with that, right? And it probably Encores me in, but I'm still like, I want to go for it, right? So, we are going to go for it, because Aqua Steps will win me the game if the Brave Bird kills. And I get paralyzed, which really, really sucks, because now I don't get my slow pivot into Shaman, which is when I was going to Baton Pass. I could have also just gone straight into Quaquaval there if all went well. But now I'm like, alright, well, I need to get Shaman in somehow, right? Because you're probably going to Ice Beam again, right? So, you know, like, he goes for a Scald. So Moltres going down there is very, very unfortunate, but I'm like, this Blastoise isn't max defense. I can just bring Quaquaval in here, and I can just kill it, right? Like, that's the plan. Not going to Terrestrialize in case he wants to go for a Scald trying to get the burn, because I am Lum, and I don't want to take the super effective damage. Otherwise, like, I mean, like, what are you really hitting me with, right? Aura Sphere. And it is going to be the Aura Sphere that he hits me with. I go for an agility to get my speed up, like I said. That shit does hurt, but it's not the end of the world. I know I don't get 2-hit KO'd, and I know that this is probably a roll, but I'm assuming it is a roll in my favor. And we're going to go for the Brave Bird, and we miss the kill. Which is really, really bad, because now I have no HP in my sweeper. My win condition is just toast. I didn't want to reveal my Tera Blast. I assume it's pretty obvious from being Tera Ground, but I also didn't want to Brave Bird and get killed by something switching in, like Melmetal, or like if something had Rocky Helmet and switched into a Brave Bird, or like in general if I Brave Birded something and died from the recoil, it would be just stupid. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. I get the +1 attack. I'm like, I'm going to do serious damage to whatever comes out with an Aqua Step, like, no matter what, right? This is still, like, solid. Even if Mesprit comes out and attacks me here, I'm still going to be doing a ton of damage to it and probably getting a kill on something. But in comes Landorus, so I'm like, oh, it's sashed Landorus. That's interesting. That's a pretty solid bring into me, right? It's fucking Pashowberry, dude. Pashowberry specifically for Quaquaval. If I brought Ice Spinner here instead of Aqua Step, I won. If that Brave Bird obviously didn't miss the kill. If I brought Ice Spinner and that Brave Bird hit right then and that Brave Bird killed, I would have won the game on the spot here. So it's extremely unfortunate. Like, Pashowberry is just insanely good prep. Like I said, Aqua Step, I don't regret what I did with Aqua Step. That's just good prep. Like, Pashowberry is crazy. Like, you're a goat for that. I can't really even be mad. I even said it, like, crazy good deck. Like, give me your Lando, dude. I want the Lando. In comes Coco. And once again, we're in the situation where it's like, well, this is not good, right? My options for dealing with Nihilego are really, really bad right now. But Ting Lu is still healthy. So we need to make sure that situation arises. We can't let Nihilego come in and do whatever it wants. I could have gone Weavile there and probably would have been okay, but I mean, I just was like, that's just good prep, you know? Let me get the Diancie kill. Specifically so that Nihilego can't come in. I took a gamble and said, you're probably Volt switching over U-turning, so I'm going into Shaman, and I'm still going to get switched out on regardless. Nihilego comes in, I'm like, alright, well, I don't think you're going to Sludge Wave. I'm going to make a hard read here, because I kind of need to start making reads if I want to win this game. I'm going to say, you're going to predict my Ting Lu switch in, and you are going to Grass Knot. And I suppose that was a bit naive, because he does have Mesprit, and I don't have a way to hit the Mesprit with Ting Lu, because I don't have a Dark Moon. I only have Earthquake. So that was kind of greedy by me, and that is going to be Shaman down in the same exact way that it went down before, to a Sludge Wave from Nihilego. And at this point, I'm in a really bad situation, because Power Herb hasn't been popped. I'm forced to bring in Ting Lu here, and I'm not forced to Earthquake, but I am a bit concerned about the Grass Knot, so I am going to go for an Earthquake. And unfortunately, Mesprit comes in. Now, I don't have anything to deal with Mesprit, so I am going to go for Diancie switch in here. Just catching an attack, like a Drain Punch. And unfortunately, it is Trick Room to be revealed, so I'm going back into Ting Lu and just dealing with the damage. Hopefully threatening this out, and I don't think he really cares, because he just stays in. I get my rest off, sure, because the electric terrain just went away. But we still have the bigger problem of the fact that this Mesprit hard walls me, and I think he knows it. This is almost assuredly weakness policy at this point in my head, because he hasn't switched out. So I'm kind of screwed. All I can really do now is Whirlwind and get my hazards up, and hope that I get good Whirlwinds. Just stay healthy, rest up, stall Trick Room, and he realizes, like, stalling Trick Room is a win condition for me, so he puts Trick Room back up. And it's just not going well at all right now. The way I win is just so scuffed. But we Whirlwind out the Mesprit, and do get lucky with Tapu Koko coming out. But that does also mean that our ability to rest is now completely gone. I would have preferred Melmetal came out, or Nihilego, you know, and then I could have Whirlwinded again, but then it's just Whirlwind, 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 right? Get the Mesprit down to enough HP, and then call a switch into Mesprit again, you know. Oh, we just Whirlwind, Whirlwind, Whirlwind here. Like, it's always Whirlwind, Whirlwind, Whirlwind. Melmetal came in, I realized this thing's definitely min speed slower than me in Trick Room, and I'm about to take a fat double Iron Bash. And I can't really do anything about it, because electric terrain's up. So I Whirlwinded out, and I'm like, oh, hey, Nihilego. I definitely died to Grass Knot. Ah, shit. And he goes for Grass Knot. And now at this point, I need Icicle Crest flinches. There's no reason for him not to do the thing. I needed one more layer of Stealth Rock Chip for knockoff to be even able to have a chance at killing. Even then, I think it's not a roll in my favor. I don't remember the calc. But as you can probably guess, he does Terrestrialize, and I do not get the flinch. And because I'm not sashed, Weavile goes down, and that's going to be the game. So yeah, that is the end of our BPL Season 12. We finish in semifinals of playoffs, and unfortunately, we will not be taking home another chip. That is the end of BPL Season 12 and the replays that I have for this channel as I have been eliminated. It is best of 1 in playoffs and our long win streak. Since week 5, we hadn't dropped a game, and unfortunately, that is going to be the game that matters. But you know what? It's all good because we do promote to the highest division for the next season. You know, it is still unfortunate to go out like that. The para on Moltres mattered a lot, but like really, his prep was just so good for my team. Like I really had nothing for best Brit. Could I have prepped better for that? Maybe, but I think it's just so good into my team that's really hard for me to do a lot about. This team was a bad matchup for me, but that does not detract from McNutt's abilities as a player whatsoever. Like, his prep was absolutely phenomenal. He read me multiple times throughout the course of the game and just played fantastically overall. So I really can't be disparaged. Like, if I was going to lose to anybody remaining in playoffs, this is the person I wanted to lose to, because I do believe he had the stuff to win it all. And I would have been more mad about losing in finals, you know? But, like, yeah, this is, of all the ways I could have been eliminated, this is the most satisfactory one, I think. Like I said, para on Moltres was unfortunate because if that U-turn hit, then Quaquaval comes in, and then I do win the game because, well, no, I don't, because he brings in Lando. But you know what I'm saying? Like, the Pachot berry, dude. It was so good. Like, look at this prep, dude. He had enough speed. I don't remember what the speed was for off the top of my head. It's been literally so long since I have not been keeping anything in mind. Choppleberry over Sugarberry is probably incorrect from my point of view. But, like, I mean, it is what it is. It's his choice, and it didn't end up mattering. Same Nihiligo said as before. It was a magnet Coco, which is why he did so much damage with the Volt Switch to Diancie right off the bat. But yeah, like, Aura Sphere still on the Blastoise is a little silly. But like, the set is still fine. Like, the roll with the Brave Bird, like I showed in the video, was like 80% in my favor or something. It's just so unfortunate that I died to that. But it wouldn't have mattered because the Lando was Pachotberry, and he would have stopped me from sweeping there no matter what. So yeah, like, absolutely phenomenal prep from him. And he definitely deserves the win moving on to finals. So yeah, that is going to be it for me, and I will be uploading the Luigi's Mansion VODs at some point over the course of the next couple weeks. I don't know how exactly I'm going to start that or what day I want to start that. I might just do it like this weekend, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. The time I upload this is going to be tomorrow at some point. Tomorrow's Friday for me, but like tomorrow I'm talking about for you with the Luigi's Mansion VOD is Saturday. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'll upload it when I upload it, but I do still have all the VODs. So, yep, with that being all said and done, I really enjoyed using my team this week. Really wish I had an electric type of some sort to hit water types better. But, yeah. Thank you all for supporting content, and I'll catch you around. Have a good one.